One moldy petri dish, forgotten on a lab bench, would save millions of lives. This isn't science fiction. It's what really happened on September 28th, 1928, when a simple accident rewrote human history. Picture St. Mary's Hospital in London. It's a damp September morning. Alexander Fleming, a weary Scottish bacteriologist, walks back into his cluttered lab after a 2-week vacation. Dishes of Staphylococcus bacteria, hope I got that one right, harmless in the petri dish but deadly in the human body, litter his workspace. Most are overgrown and useless. Then he spots one dish that kind of stops him. Around a patch of blue-green mold, the bacteria are dying. A clear halo of death surrounds the mold. To any other scientist, this probably would have just been contamination, a disaster to just get rid of. But Fleming wants to look at this a little bit closer and wonders why. This is where kind of it gets weird. Contamination was a constant nuisance in the 1928 labs. Molds and spores drifted through open windows and just basically ruined experiments daily. Scientists would have just tossed the dish without a second thought. But Fleming, he'd spent years studying how the human body fights infection. He knew something unnatural was happening here. He scraped the mold into a tube, grew it, and tested it. The mold, Penicillium notatum, wasn't just bacteria, it was dissolving them like acid on paper. And it didn't harm human cells. Fleming named the invisible killer penicillin. Yet even he almost missed it. He had left the dish out because he'd just rushed off on vacation. The cool, damp weather that summer just slowed bacteria growth just enough for the mold's effect to show. Had he returned a day earlier, the bacteria would have overgrown the mold. No halo, and then no discovery. Fleming published his findings in 1929, but the world just shrugged. Isolating penicillin was like catching smoke. It kept vanishing. For a decade, the discovery just gathered dust. Why? Because penicillin was fragile, hard to produce, and Fleming wasn't a chemist. The weird twist? It took World War II to force the breakthrough. In 1940, Oxford scientists Howard Florey and Ernest Chain stumbled on Fleming's paper. With soldiers dying from infection wounds, they raced to mass-produce penicillin. They grew mold in bedpans and milk bottles. By D-Day 1944, penicillin had saved thousands of lives among the Allied forces. A single infection that meant amputation or death, like a cut from a rose thorn, was now treatable. Before penicillin, 30% of surgical patients died from infections. After that, less than 1%. And think about it, this almost didn't happen. If Fleming had been a tidy lab technician, he'd have cleaned that dish before leaving on his vacation. If the weather had been drier, the mold wouldn't have grown. If Florey hadn't found that dusty paper in 1940, penicillin might have remained a footnote. In 1928, the average life expectancy was 54 years. Today, it's 73. Antibiotics have helped to add 2 decades to the human life, and it all started with a moldy mistake. Fleming later said, "I didn't plan to discover penicillin. I was just lucky." But luck favors the curious. While others saw contamination, he saw a mystery to be solved. While others discarded errors, he asked why. This isn't just a story about medicine. It's a lesson in how progress hides in plain sight. Today, antibiotic resistance threatens to return us to the pre-penicillin era, where a paper cut could actually kill you. Fleming himself warned about this. In 1945, he thought that could potentially happen down the road. Yet the core truth remains. The most revolutionary ideas often arrive not in a flash of genius, but on a forgotten petri dish. One man's oversight becomes humanity's lifeline. So the next time you see mold on bread, remember, in the right hands, at the right time, even decay can become a miracle. On September 28, 1928, a scientist's curiosity turned contamination into salvation. And in a world still fighting invisible enemies, that accident reminds us, sometimes the smallest mistakes save the most lives. Thanks for watching today, And if you enjoyed this, subscribe to the Daily Pastcast on YouTube, like this video, and come back tomorrow for another incredible story.